The following show features stunts performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, Valley TNTV and the producers must insist that no one try this stuff at home.
Don't you cover me and then simply try to be me, because I don't think you will. Think you will. Think you will. Because I don't think you will.
Day 2, Summit Day.
Summit Day!
Summit Day.
Summit Day! Day 2 on Mount Shasta. The game plan is to leave Camp 1 at Lake Helen at 3 in the morning. We'll climb up the Red Banks, cross the ridge, climb up Misery Hill, and then on to the summit. The climb to the Red Banks is dangerous. It's very steep, and you gotta watch out for avalanche and rock and ice fall. Know how to use crampons and an ice axe, and know how to self-arrest. A fall from the Red Banks would be bad, but not as bad as Leigh's night at altitude.
I woke up that morning knowing that I didn't sleep very well at all.
So bright.
I wasn't feeling up to par to go ahead and make the climb.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna make it, and you could see it on his face. All night I tried to get him to leave and tried to go down, but he manned up for my benefit to give me the opportunity to summit. So in the morning I wasn't gonna let him down.
Don't ditch me. Will you wait for me? I will wait for you. Wait for me. Alright. I'll see you in a couple hours. Alright.
It wasn't bad enough for me to turn around, but it was definitely bad enough for me to stay at Camp 1.
It's cool. It's cool. It's totally cool. Just wait for me, okay? Don't go nowhere.
Rob and I said our goodbyes, and he went ahead and left camp.
To be honest, our personal well-being is far more important than summiting any stupid mountain.
And I'd rather stay at Camp 1 and have one more shot at it next year than make that last decision of my life.
We had stomach issues again this year, so I left him at Camp 1. I'm going solo.
We figured it was fine for me to go on by myself because there were so many people on the mountain.
All you see is little lights going up the mountain really slow, and I knew that Rob was one of them, and I knew he had a really good shot of making the summit.
Almost to the top of the Red Banks. That's what the bottom looks like. If you can't tell, it's a little steep.
You know, last year we went up and around the Heart and broke by the Thumb, which is over here somewhere, and then broke left over the glacier.
I have to use the chute this time because the glacier's opened up over there with some rock.
But this year the glacier had opened up and it was a huge gap. Basically that glacier was pulling away from the mountain, so we couldn't go that way. I've never done the chimneys, I've never done the chutes, and I'll be honest, that was the most exciting part of the whole mountain.
Alright, made it through the Red Banks. This is the last little stretch before Misery Hill. And then it's onto the summit. It's getting a little cold. This is exactly where I went down last year.
I remember stopping right where I went down last year with ataxia and hypothermia, and realizing how much farther I really had to go.
What I learned is where Caleb and I turned around, well, where I had to turn around last time, really wasn't Misery Hill.
In my head all year I've been saying, you know, we were 600 feet from the summit, but we were really another 1,200 feet from the summit.
Misery Hill? Oh, Misery Hill? Oh, that's not it? That's just one more hill? Right after After the Red Banks, you got to come up this steep hill. It puts you on this little plateau and gives you Misery Hill, which is right behind me. I'm burnt, I'm freezing, I'm out of water, and my camel pack is frozen.
And as we crossed over Misery Hill, we hit the plateau. And it's the summit plateau. It's this wide expansion of snow. And then that's when you get your first glimpse of the summit.
You're not going to believe this, but Rob is sitting 20 feet from the summit. This was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
So to me, it's really not a huge physical ordeal to get up this mountain. You know, I am spent, I'm sore now, you know, but out of all honesty, it is completely mental. I lock myself in my head, just like I do when I'm running. I try and not focus on the pain, and I'm trying not to focus on how much further I have to go. I'm really just focused on what the next step in front of me. I'm pretty sure I summited right around 7:30-ish, so that was about 4.5 hours to the summit.
She don't feel nothing at all, and I'm not wasting.
That was a moment for me.
She don't hate me, I don't hate you. She don't feel nothing at all, and I'm not wasting.
You know, now that I know I've made it, knowing I don't have to do it again was such a relief.
I'm just killing time for her.
I got to the summit, took some photos and a little bit of footage, tapped the top, and shoom, ran and down. I'm out.
Time to get the hell out of here.
I glissaded pretty much from the summit down back to the plateau. I ran across the plateau to the top of Misery Hill. I glissaded down Misery Hill all the way to the top of the Red Banks. The sun had already hit the top, so it was perfect for glissading from the summit. But Avalanche Gulch was still in the shade, so it was still ice.
Well, back on the Red Banks, you can always tell by how steep it is. Took me about an hour to get from the summit to here. I've been moving downhill. I want to get out of here. I want to pack up the tent and go home.
If you ask Leigh or Caleb or most of the people on the show, when I'm done, I'm done.
Because it's been like a 2-year battle to make it to the top of this damn mountain. And I'm so happy to have somebody at Camp 1 to celebrate with.
So I look up and I can see Rob. Greatest moment ever was seeing him through the I made it. I conquered the mountain as he was running.
I got to the top, brother. I peeked that. Yeah! Yeah! Oh man.
You know, this is the point of climbing, is you find out where your limits are, and I think you just push past them.
Yeah.
I had my pack ready to go, and all we had to do pretty much is break down the tent and pack his pack, and we we got off that mountain.
So this is glissading, and this is how you shouldn't do it, because you should have an ice axe to stop you when you get out of control. But I'm not gonna use one. There's Lee's, that little blue dot over there.
I'm glad it worked out the way it did, to where Leigh didn't get worse, so we didn't have to drag him down that mountain, because, you know, if you can't walk yourself literally off that mountain, you're not getting off that mountain.
You have to ask yourself whether you want to test that physical ability.
It's a tough call, you know, and that's why people do die on these climbs, and people climb themselves into a spot they can't climb out of.
I feel like I made the right choice on staying at 10-5 at Camp 1. There's always next year.
Be like, Rob, out.
Happy Mother's Day from 14,162 feet. Love you, Mom.